What's up, guys? This is Caden with Official Strength and TJ White, our head trainer.
Yo.
Yeah, say what's up, TJ.
What's happening?
These are our baseball athletes that we've been training for their whole off season, and there was a few things that we really wanted to change with them, and that was how they were getting off the base and how they were getting out of their 60-yard shuttle. So when we were training them, they had a lot of camps throughout the whole off season, and they were periodically getting tested, and so we had to change the script a lot for them. But the one thing we wanted to fix was how they were getting off the base. So with this first kid is Jayden Peterson, and he plays for Desert Hills. And we've actually been training Jayden since he was super young. I think like 8th grade, just on and off. But so he always had issues with his knees and how he was running. But as you can tell, the top clip, how wide it's like swinging the gate open with his stance, like how wide his whole stance was. And if you can see, his toes pointed up. So that was a big thing that we had to start from scratch with these guys with their step, is kind of getting that toe up for a more like lean, you know, trying to get a more forward lean, right, TJ?
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
But it caused them to have a bigger step, so we almost had a reverse, like go in reverse effect with these dudes. So we almost had to make them get an even worse step to fix their step. And so on the bottom one, you can see how much farther forward Jayden's leaning, and you can also see how big his gait is, like versus the top one. And he's coming down on his toe now, and with the top one, he's basically going to be coming down on his heel. And go on, TJ.
I was just gonna say, one of the biggest things that we had to work on was their back leg like extending fully, because a lot of them, especially with Jayden, like their knee caves in, and so he wouldn't fully extend that leg, which wouldn't allow him to lean as far forward as he needed to. And so after we fixed, you know, the leg and had him fully extend that leg, his forward propulsion was, you know, much higher because he was able to get in that front lean and be on that toe.
And so you can just see with the angles, like the top one's 49 degrees and the bottom one's 35. And what's the optimal power? 40?
Yeah, it's like somewhere around 45. But faster athletes can achieve, you know, a smaller angle, like a 35.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see how much faster his turn would be because he's already down planted on his toe versus at the 51 seconds where he's still in the air. So 50 seconds on the bottom, he's already getting into his triple extension on the back leg, and then coming out of that first step where at 51 seconds he hasn't even hit the ground, and then his back leg, like TJ was saying, isn't fully extended.
Yeah, so because they were able to lean so far forward, like I think Jayden's time for his first 60 was like 7.9, and just making this small change of being more on the toe, he shed half a second off his 60. That's just with only opening up, you know, his stride and making sure all of his weight's in front of his toe rather than behind it. That's just 1/2 of a second. Just imagine, you know, all these other tweaks and changes, you know, twisting in the upper body and things like that. So.
And they, like I was saying, like we were in an off-season program with them, so we were really trying to build strength, and then we would find out 3 weeks, you know, into what we were doing with them, that they would have a testing, and then they wouldn't have testing for, you know, a month, and then all of a sudden they have testing the week after that. So it was always sporadic, and so we really had to adjust a lot of things. So I thought that, or we thought that, like this was a huge factor for overall player for these guys. So that was Jayden. Now we can go on to, this is Landon. So Landon Levine, he had a good first step already. He flips his hips pretty fast. But there was little tweaks like we have in this picture that we broke down a lot of his because he was really fast, so it was hard to catch. But as you can tell, in the bottom one, he's triple extended in his back leg all the way up to his spine, and his knee, you can see he's locked out, his toes already on the ground. Well, on the top one, you can see like he's already going into his second stride, and you could see the knee placement. So you could see how much faster he got the forward lean. and the step. So making his actual, when he's coming down on his toe faster, because his hips were fast, but he was still stepping high. So once we got his forward lean a little bit more forward, he was able to get out of that gate, that first step, way faster. And now for Landon, it's all about the control after that, because he's not used to being in that much forward lean. So once we can put all that together, then he's gonna be good to go.
Yeah, something else too that actually all three of them do is when they start, they like almost explode like up, like they stand up and then they go outwards. So like they go to their side. So we just mimic the falling start, but we did it in a side start, and we just took their leg away and then just had them go right into a sprint as they were falling sideways. What we were trying to do is have their explosiveness go outwards and like at a lower angle rather than up and out. So that's just one of the smaller tweaks that we made with Landon, because he had a lot of explosion, but it was up rather than it was down and out, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, so this is our other athlete, Caden Goodman. This is our other baseball athlete, and we've been trading Caden on and off as well since he was about in 8th grade. And so we've really got to just see him develop. But as you can see, this top picture with Caden, his distance between both feet is super big. So his stride, he was way overextending his stride. But it was the same thing that we had to do with him that we had to do with Jayden too. We had to get him to point his toe up to get him to go into a forward lean, which it was causing him to have a bigger step. But we had to fix that before we could then change everything else. So as you can see from his almost triple extension on the top, it's at 38 seconds to the bottom at 37 seconds, where he's already going into his second stride. So, and you can see his lean's good, but look at his toe, his front toe. He's completely on his front toe, and he's using all that power to get into his second stride. What do you think, TJ?
Yeah, so one of the bigger problems that we had with Caden, like Caden said, is that toe. But one thing that we figured out, and I'm not sure if it's because all these kids pitch, but when they would go for their, you know, sideways launch, it's like they were kicking with their heel like a pitch, and so they were trying to do that in their side start, as they would go heel first then toe. So changing that, we just had to, you know, drop their angle and make sure that they were focusing on getting their hips over their toe, basically, like you see in the bottom picture, because all that explosion and all that drive in the front leg is a result of that full extension but staying low on that angle.
And just like what TJ was saying, with all the athletes, all these baseball guys, they would jump up first. So it was weird. Like they would launch up. So they were really reaching for it and kicking with their heel, like TJ was saying. So it was a lot of like different tweaks that we had to do with them, and we had to change and evolve with them, especially like due to testing, because you know, if you're training for testing, that's a whole different training style than off season, you know. So we had to mix and match with all these kids, and I feel like that the results came out pretty well. So
yeah.
All right, guys, let us know what you think about the breakdown we just did. We're gonna try to do them a lot more, and if you have any questions or anything, just comment below, and we will try to get back as soon as possible. And
make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, Official Strength. And we do run athlete classes, so go to our website at officialstrength.com and check it out.